Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Hi, introduce. My name is Ardiani from Senior High School 1 Subang as host. The presenter name Devita Pratiwi Suhaedi. The moderator name Vigo Garcia Mocodompis. Okay, moderator and presenter, are you ready?
Ready.
Yes.
Okay. Let's this meeting and I will give meeting to the moderator, please.
Okay, thank you, Asri. Hello, everyone. I am Vigo Garcia Mocodompis from Senior High School 1 Subang. I'm as moderator this meeting. Before we starting, I will notify about rules during this meet. First, mute your microphone. Will you have a question? Second, unmute your microphone. If you have question, please unmute the microphone when just you have a question. Okay, then I will read the bio data from the presenter. Name, Devita Pratiwi Suhaedi. Birthday date, 29 October 2003. I hope the participant can enjoy this meet. Okay, Devita, this meet is yours now.
Okay, thank you, host and moderator. Give me time for my presentation about drugs. Uh, my introduction myself, Devita Pratiwi Suhaedi from Senior High School 1 Subang. Okay, let's go. My title, drugs. Narcoba stands for narcotics, psychotropic drugs, and illegal drugs. Apart from drugs, another term introduced in particular by the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia is NAPSA, which stands for narcotic psychotropic substance and addictive substance. Next. All of the terms, whether drugs or drugs, refer to a group of compounds that generally pose a risk of addiction to users. According to health experts, drugs are actually psychotropic compounds that are commonly used to sedate patients when they are about to be operated on or drugs for kidney disease. Cessation needed, but now that perception is misinterpreted due to use outside of the intended use and dosage. At present, 2015, there are 29 at 25 types of drug consumed by drug users in Indonesia, from the cheapest to the most expensive, such as LSD. In the world, there are uh, three, three, five, four types of drugs. Drug suppliers in Indonesia are known to come from West Africa, Iran, Europa, and the most active suppliers are from Indochina. Okay, next. Definition narcotics. Narcotics are substances or drugs derived from plants or on plants, but synthetic and semi-synthetic, which can cause a decrease or change in consciousness, loss of pain, and can lead to dependence. lalu uh, 5009 narcotics are classified into their groups as stated in attachment 1 to the law included in the types of narcotics are next. First, paper for plants, raw opium, cooking opium, or opium jichingo, medic, medical opium, morphine, cocaine, hgoni, second salts and derivatives of morphine and cocaine, and mixtures and preparation containing the aforementioned ingredients. Psychotropic are substances or drugs, but natural and synthetic, not narcotic, which have the curative properties through a selective influence on the central nervous system, which uses change in mental activity and behavior. Next, definition psychotropic. There are no there are four psychotropic classes according to the law, uh, but after the enactment of law no uh, uh, 339 of 2009 concerning narcotic, then the psychotropic drugs of groups I and 2 are classified as narcotic. Thus, at this time, when talking about psychotropic problems, it only concerns psychotropies group 3 and 4 according to laws. Substances that include psychotropic include next sedatin or backup please, rohypnol, macadon, valium, mandrax, amphetamine, benzodiazepine, metaqualone, metilphenidate, phenobarbital, flunitrazepam, ecstasy, sabu-sabu, LCD, and so on. Other than rose edits are natural semi-synthesis or material that can be used as substitute for morphine on cocaine, which can disrupt the central nervous system, such as alcohol containing ethanol inhalant or sniffing or solvent in the form of organic substance or carbon which produce the same effect as the produced by all alcoholic beverage or anesthetic drugs if the aroma is smoked. Example glue or adhesive, acetate, ether, and so on. Next, spread until now. The spread of drug abuse can hardly be prevented, given that almost the entire population can easily get drugs from irresponsible people. Of course, this can cause concern from parents, community organizations, and the government. Efforts to eradicate drugs have often been carried out, but there is still little chance of avoiding drugs among adolescents and adults. Even many children of elementary and junior high school haven't fallen drug abuse. Until now, the most uh, effective effort to prevent drug abuse in children is family education. Parents are expected to supervise and educate their children to stay away from drug abuse. Securities-based group based on the effect on the user drugs are grouped as follows. Next. halluci- hallucinogens, namely the effect of drugs that can cause a person to hallucinate by seeing things or things that do not exist or are not real when consumed in certain doses. For example, cocaine and LCD. Next, stimulants, namely the effect of drugs that can cause the work of organs such as the heart and brain to work faster than usual, resulting in the user being more energetic tends to make him happier and happier for a while. Next, depression, which are the effect of the drugs that can suppress the central nervous system and reduce the body functional activity so that the user feel calm and even fall asleep and is unconscious. For example, putau addictive, namely the effect of drug that cause addiction. Someone who has consumed drugs will usually want more because certain substance in drug make a person tend to be passive because drugs indirectly cut the nerves in the brain. For example, marijuana, heroin, and putau. Next, addictive, namely the effect of drugs that cause addiction. Someone who has consumed drugs will usually want more because certain substances in drugs make a person tend to be passive because drugs indirectly cut the nerves in the brain. For example, marijuana, heroin, and putap. If it's too long and has been dependent on drugs, gradually the organs in the body will be damaged, and if has exceeded the dose, the user will overdose and eventually lead to the death. Okay, next type, heroin and cannabis. Heroin or diamorphine or and is a type of alkaloid opioid. Heroin is a 3,9 diacetylide derivative of morphine, or hence the name acetylmorphine, and is synthesized from it by acetylation. White crystalline form is commonly the hydrochloride salt. Diamorphine hydrochloride heroin can be addictive. Cannabis Cannabis is a fiber-producing cultivated plant, but it is better known for its narcotic content in the cis tetrahydrocannabinol, which can cause the rare berry to experience euphoria. Next, marijuana has become a symbol of the hippie culture that was once popular in the United States. This is usually symbolized by the distinctive shape of cannabis leaf. In addition, marijuana and opium are also equate as symbols of resistance to globalism imposed by capitalistic controls on developing countries. In India, some sadhus who worship Lord Shiva use cannabis derivative product to perform ritual worship by smoking hashish straw, zilam or silum pips, and by drinking bang. For utilization, marijuana, the cannabis plant, has been known to humans for a long time and is used as a material for making bags because of the strong fiber it produces. Cannabis seeds are also used as a source of oil. However, because marijuana is also known as a source of narcotic and this use has more economic value, people grow more for it and it is abused in many places. Next, in some countries, the cultivation of cannabis is completely prohibited. In some other countries, cannabis cultivation is allowed for the benefit of its fiber utilization. The condition is that the varieties planted must contain very low or no narcotic substances. Before there was a strict ban on cannabis cultivation in Aceh, cannabis leaves were a vegetable component and was commonly served. For its user, dried marijuana leaves are burned and smoked like cigarettes and can also be smoked with a special tool called a bong. This plant can be found in an almost very tropical country. Even some countries with cold climates have started to cultivate it in greenhouses. Next, 5 morphine. Morphine is a very strong analgesic alkaloid and is the main active agent found in opium. Morphine acts directly on the central nervous system to help by side effects or morphine include the distressive consciousness, apathy, drowsiness, like lethargy, and blurred vision. Morphine also reduces hunger, stimulates coughing, and causes constipation. Morphine creates a high dependence that other substance morphine patients also reported to suffer from insomnia and nightmares. The word morphine comes from Morpheus, the god of dreams in Greek mythology. Next, next. Okay, cocaine. Cocaine is a synthetic compound that triggers a very fast cellular metabolism. Cocaine is an alkaloid obtained from the Australian salsa plant, which is native to South America, where the leaves of this plant are usually sewed by local people for a stimulant effect. Currently, cocaine is still used as local anesthetic, especially for eye, nose, and throat surgeries because its vasoconstrictive effect is also helpful. Cocaine is classified as a narcotic along with morphine and heroin because of its addictive effect. Next, crystal meth. Spade like cooking special namina white other Ardiani is dissolved in alcohol water. Its use will immediately be active, have lots of ideas, the do not feel tired even though is harmed by working for a long time, do not feel hungry and have great self-confidence. Next, ecstasy. Substance or material that are not included in the category of narcotic or alcohol and are types of addictive substances that are classified as stimulants. Okay, next, putao is a typical Chinese drink that contains alcohol and a type of heroin which is related to marijuana used by inhaling through the nose or mouth and injecting into a vein. Next, heroin. Heroin, unlike morphine, which still has medical value, heroin still comes from opium after a very careful chemical process and has a much stronger ability than morphine. Okay, next. Narcotics. Narcotics come from the English narcotic, which means drug. Narcotic and ingredients derived from three types of pepper, somniferum or opium, every erythrocean or cocaine, and cannabis sativa or marijuana, both pure and mixed. Okay, next. The way it works affects the nervous system that can make you feel nothing even if parts of our body are hurt. The types are opium or opioid or opiates or opium, codeine, methadone, LSD or lysergic acid or acid or trips or tabs. FC, mescaline, barbiturates, demerol or petidine dextroproxyfen has his or in the form of flour and black color. It is enjoyed by smoked or eaten. The second type of narcotics is said to be some what harm risk because it really brings death. Okay, next. Psychotropic. Psychotropics are other substances that do not contain narcotic are artificial, fecal, or engineered substance made by adjusting the chemical structure, affect or change the mental state and behavior of the wearer. The types are ecstasy or illness or methamphetamines, demerol, speed, angel dust, sabu-sabu, sedative, hypnotic, megadon, uh, nipam, and nipam. Next, types of psychotropic are also often associated with the term amphetamine, in which there are two types of amphetamines, namely MDMA or methyl dioxymethamphetamine, are known as ecstasy. Another name for pentachplase in next. Then another type is methamphetamine, which works longer than MDMA or can reach uh, 12 hours, and the hallucinatory effect is stronger. Other names are sabu, SS, and ice. Addictive substances are substances that can be addictive if consumed regular and sample include alcohol, nicotine, caffeine, and designer substance. Okay, next. Okay, thank you, host and moderator and participant.
Okay, thank you for your presentation, from Devita. And you can unmute your microphone and raise your hand.
I want to ask a question.
Okay,
Okay.
from Umi Rosida. Okay.
Hello, my name is Umi Rosida. I want to ask a question. How do you prevent us from being tempted by drugs? Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
Umi.
Devita.
Okay, Umi, I will your question. perspective and relationship. Second, avoid wandering at night. Three, be a child devoted to parents. Four, focus on the positive. Five, don't be right of losing pride. Save your problem for party, your selfish religion. Remember the future. Okay, thank you, Mi.
Okay, I want to ask one more again question. Can I?
Okay. Any question?
I want to ask, can alcohol and drug addiction be cured? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mi, for your question. Alcohol addiction is when the body becomes dependent on alcohol and it is difficult to uh, control its consumption. There are several other terms used for this condition, such alcoholism or alcohol use disorder. Thank you, Mi. Understand
Okay,
me?
thank you for your question. Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, I will tell small the presentation from Devita definition of narcotic case. This I'm reload again.
Translation.
Substance are drugs they
Go.
refer from yes.
Translation.
Oh yeah, wait. I'm your presentation. I will tell a small material from you. Substance or drug that derivative or placed on our plants, both synthetic and semi-synthetic, which can cause a decrease or a change in consciousness. Okay, this small material from I'm, and please your conclusion, Devita.
Okay, thank you, Vigo. Conclusion. Still, your generation should not try drugs and alcohol. Thank you.
Okay, and my conclusion is the problem of drug abuse, especially in adolescents, is a very worrying trait for families and in particular and a nation in general. Particular in the influence of the drugs is very bad, but in terms of personal health and the social impact it causes, the problem of drug abuse prevention is not the task of a group of people alone, but readers ours. Efforts to prevent drug abuse from an early age are very good, of course, with sufficient knowledge about the term measures. And that's my conclusion. Thank you for all participants for coming this our meet. And now, Asri for host, this meet is yours.
Okay, thank you, Vigo. Okay, fine. We are done with the performance, so that our presentation. Apology if there is an error and we have closed the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss and Star and participant.